Good morning. It is Thursday morning. We've got a little bit more of the same. The weather has been pretty much day after day doing the same deal. Today we're going to talk about, well, this is Pier 39. Why did the seals end up at Pier 39? I forgot. I kind of remembered it, and then I looked it up and I was like, oh, we're going to talk about that. It's pretty interesting how the seals got there. We'll go to the Farallon Islands. Got a live camera out there we can take a peek at just because it's gnarly, kind of drizzly out there. Long range models and short range models for the entire United States, but we'll focus mainly on the West Coast. But we're gonna look at rainfall and temperature over the next month and see what that looks like. It's going to be if you can buy the long range models, but sometimes they're a good indication. We'll go to Mammoth where the snow is melting rapidly, Mammoth Mountain. Then we'll look at the eagles as well. I had an interesting experience yesterday. I looked at I listened to one of the eagle talks from the Big Bear Eagle. I guess it's a sanctuary. And one of the women, it was awesome. I learned a ton more about eagles. The thing I learned about eagles that I learned a lot actually. The thing I didn't really realize is the bald eagles don't get their white heads until they're 5 years old, sort of a sexual maturity thing. And before that, you'll see their white is sort of muddled as a transition from just black, like the youngsters are now, black-headed. The white comes in, but it kind of slowly comes in. So you get this weird kind of muddled look, especially around year 4 and year 5. Okay, we'll look at all that. Pier 39, I can click this live. You know how the seals ended up there? And I remember when this happened, actually. This was back after the Loma Prieta earthquake. And there's a live camera on it. And these are sea lions, not seals, sea lions. And they don't have ear flaps. That's the big difference. After the earthquake, which I had forgotten about this, it was a weird time in San Francisco. I was working at Cron 4 News. And after the earthquake, a lot of the sea lions got displaced from their normal rookeries, which I think is interesting, right? Along the coast. I mean, we know where they like to be on Seal Rock off of Ocean Beach and places like that. They kind of got displaced and they came inside the bay. Now, these docks weren't necessarily here. There were some docks, but it was old fishing boats. And the seals started climbing up onto the fishing boats, and you can find old pictures of this, and kind of just sinking them. They were causing problems, and there was a whole, how do we get rid of the seals? And it became a tourist attraction, and now it's become what it is today, which is it's a huge tourist attraction, quite frankly. As a matter of fact, I saw the guys out there hosing. You can see the decks are all wet. They were hosing them off this morning. But isn't that interesting? Loma Prieta earthquake, displaced, and then they, for some reason, and nobody really quite knows why, they set up shop here, but not before. They really damaged and caused a lot of problems for the folks who had boats, fishing boats out in this Pier 39 because they were sinking them because they were climbing on them. And so the earthquake really, in short, really threw them off their game, so to speak. Speaking of earthquakes, this is the seismograph. I'm not sure if this one's at Berkeley or not. I don't think it is, but it just shows the most recent earthquakes. This is an earthquake page, and there was earlier today, like at 7, about an hour ago, there was a 4.9 in the Philippines. Earthquakes are interesting. We had a seismograph at UC Berkeley in what's the name of the hall we were in? Thornton? No, that was at San Francisco. Thornton Hall, McCombs. McCombs is the geology building, or was the geography building and seismology building, but we had the full-on official seismograph in there, and it would register like when the swell would get big enough at the coast, because you're basically measuring the movement of the plates, right? And you're the shaking of the earth. Well, when the ocean would get big, like Mavericks would break 30 foot, when it breaks, it's breaking onto the continental shelf, or breaking near it or close to it or on it, and it shakes the shelf, and it would show up on the seismograph. It has to be big to do that, but the thing is incredibly sensitive. So just a cool page here. This is Farallon Islands. Today, it's going to be foggy out there all day. By the way, temperatures today around the state are going to be a lot like they were yesterday. I think we'll see more clearing along the coast. You can see some of the birds out there, and you can see some of the drizzle. Farallon Islands, if you've never been, it's hard to get to. It's a national wildlife preserve. We talked about it a little bit yesterday. It's not a very easy place to get on shore because it's all rocky. So to get on shore, I think they still do it this way. They have a hoist that hoists out over the bay, and you get in like we used to get, the times I went, we'd get on kind of like a rope thing with a ring under it, and you would ride up and it would launch you onto the island. You couldn't, it was very difficult to get onto the island because of the terrain. That's the Farallon Islands. This is the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. I don't often show these, but I find that you guys, in some ways, it's a nice check-in. Like, okay, what's going on? Well, they got California near normal, right? Or a little above normal. Or what am I saying, California? I'm saying Bay Area. Little above average in Southern California, temperature-wise, through June 21st. Alaska, well above average. So that's interesting. So most of the country looks like it wants to be well above average for heat. In terms of precipitation, near normal for California and above normal. So no real big, the precipitation doesn't seem like there's any huge anomalous factors. This looks pretty ominous. That's a lot of above average, right? I'd expect to see more light oranges and grays representing not above average, but just about where you should be. So it sort of looks like it's going to be a warmer than average month across the United States. It has been a average month for the most part, or a little below average month for Bay Area and parts of the Central Valley and into Southern California as well. And you can see the visible satellite image picking up. The subtropical moisture is gone now, which is great. So that's the thunderstorms in the afternoons if you're backpacking or camping. Not something to concern yourself with, which is very reassuring. Because like I said, there's nothing worse than, I should say it's nothing more awesome than being above 8,000 feet in a thunderstorm, but it's terrifying too. I've had my share of those, and you just don't sleep good. You really don't. The marine layer looks like it's been lifted out a little bit. Some clearing here. Cape Mendocino, Point Arena. You guys look like you're in getting a little sunshine today. There's nothing prettier in a day. Especially up there, up around Fort Bragg when the sun comes out, right, after a few days of fog. And then you got Point Reyes. Looks like it's going to be kind of maybe some clearing today. Yeah. And then Southern California, you guys will clear as well. San Diego, you got a pretty good push of fog. You see how far inland it is, but I suspect you guys will clear as well. And then what else can we pick up? You can just see the snow, really. There's what's left of it. That's the Sierra Nevada. That's down towards Whitney and Owens, the southern Sierra Nevada. Northern Sierra Nevada looks pretty void of snow. This is the fast forward from Mount Tamalpais. Look how shallow it is. A little shallower than yesterday. Not a ton, but a little bit. And that would indicate typically a warmer day, but I think it's more just a feature of the inversion subtly moving. I think there'll be more sunshine today, but I think the heat is going to be just about the same as it was yesterday, or the warmth, if you will. So that's Mount Tamalpais. Temperatures today, like I said, we'll get to the temperatures, but generally you were, 70s and 80s for much of the bay, which is very pleasant. These high clouds, not representing a thunderstorm threat because they're cirrus clouds, upper level high cirrus clouds, and then you can see the contrails of the jets indicating at the higher elevations where it's much colder, the fuel particulate comes out and it gives the whatever moisture's up there, and it adds a little moisture. It gives it the ability to condense and form a cloud. And so you get these contrails. And also when I see those, you go, oh yeah, upper level winds are pretty light, right? Because if the winds are blowing really hard up there, that just goes away. It just gets blown. But now the upper level winds up around 18,000 feet look like they're pretty light at this time. That is Mount Shasta. Today, Mount Shasta, probably 75, 77 degrees for a daytime high. And the snow's going pretty quick. That's the north side of the mountain. We're losing a lot of, kind of the northwest side of the mountain. So they're losing a lot of snow there. And then this is a little special treat. This is Paradise. Place my hometown actually, where I grew up. The place had the fire. I used to live this is the Feather River Canyon here, right here. And then Butte Creek Canyon's over on the other side. And then Paradise is this area here that kind of runs right through the middle. And it looks like everything when I was there because there's a lot less trees. It was all just treed. But these canyons are awesome. Like we used to go down here. So I think the hospital's right up here somewhere. But Dean Road was here, and we used to go down and go swimming in the rivers. And pretty awesome. Because you had the west branch of the Feather River here, and then you had the Butte Creek, which was a fairly significant water flow as well over here. So we kind of, and then Lake Orville was just down to the left of this a little bit. So we had a lot of water stuff going on, a lot of rivers, a lot of swimming in rivers, a lot of drinking beer by the river, a lot of hanging out at the marina. We used to get down to the marina at Lake Orville, Lime Saddle, and we were such urchins. We'd go down with a couple of cool boys, and we probably shouldn't have been drinking them. And we go down there and watch people get really frustrated when they launch their boats. And it was sort of, you would see everything. You would see all types of humanity at the boat launch. And if you've ever been to a boat launch on a hot day, and when it's lined up and it's busy and people are waiting to go, you're going to see it, dude. I mean, you're going to see everything. And I saw everything. I won't even tell you the things I saw, but it was like, oh my God. It's hard to explain, but something about boats, heat, crowds, stress of having fun, right? But and because it wasn't a well-to-do community, many of these boats wouldn't start with the first pull. Like this is back in the day when you were pulling on the thing, right? Even the bigger engines, some of the fancy guys had keys, so most of us had to pull it. And you can just picture that guy pulling on that thing, just getting madder and madder, and the wife kind of going, "Oh, here we go. This is the kind of day it's going to be." So that is over here. It's far away from town. And then this is the upper Sacramento Valley. That's down towards Chico. And then you can barely see the coastal range over there. So yeah, just a little bit of background. Here are the temperatures from today. Just 95 in Redding, which I think is a pleasant day for them. It is, let's put an arrow on it. We've got 88 in Sacramento, little below the average in Sacramento, 66 in San Francisco. That indicates to me the sun's probably going to come out. 77 in San Luis Obispo, 93 in Bakersfield, 114 just north of Las Vegas again, out towards Death Valley. That number gets big, man. That's a big departure from these 103s, right? What is that, 11 degrees warmer in that short of a distance? So real big heat continues, and you do have heat advisories down here that are going to stay in effect. And this area, like I say, if you can't afford air conditioning or shelter, you're unhoused, you're a pet, that you have a lousy pet owner, somebody who's not taking care of you as an animal, this will just devastate you. So I give, the heat is only, when I see, severe thunderstorm warnings, I get like, okay, that's kind of scary. But when I see heat, I get a little nervous because I think about the people who don't have representation, like little kids. I've seen guys running with their dogs on the track on a hot day. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing, right? Your dog, when your pets are down on the ground, this is tomorrow, when your pets are down that low in the asphalt, the temperature, if it's it's 100 degrees up at your chest, it's coming off their little feet, it's probably 104, 125, 130 degrees. And they just, so when I see this, I'm not Mother Teresa or anything, but when I see heat, I really worry about pets, elderly people, kids, and unhoused people. People who aren't being taken care of can really get in trouble here. So fluids, okay, enough of that. These are the highs forecast for tomorrow, 90 in Redding, so a little cooler. So this pattern, this is all the same stuff that we have been talking about. It's just been very day after day. Here's that heat, extreme heat warnings. And let me tell you a little something. When you're down in Arizona, down towards Phoenix, and you see an extreme heat warning, that's saying something, right? Sometimes extreme heat warnings in San Francisco, 90-something degrees, that's a big deal for sure. But you're down here, you're dealing with temperatures on the concrete, ambient air. Like let's say they're forecasting 105 for Phoenix today. But downtown, in the sun, near the concrete, it's 115. Maybe 100, maybe more than that, because you get the re-radiation. When we take temperatures and we do temperature forecasts, we typically do them from places like airports, out like San Francisco Airport, out in the marshland, or because you don't want the temperature to be influenced by the urban heat island, is what it's called, right? So if you put a temperature sensor in the middle of Los Angeles, not sheltered in a box or something, you just put it out there, it's going to be way hotter. way hotter. We forecast and we take official temperatures, usually from airports, usually from places that are what we deem the right way to take temperature. But that means that everybody else, most likely, anytime the sun's heating something up, like a running track or like turf, the kids are playing soccer on a hot day, it is brutal, and you know that. We just forget. So anyway, when I see these types of things, I get a little nervous. I don't worry about wind advisories. Kind of worry about the extreme these thunderstorms that they're having out here. We'll look at those, but out in Texas and Louisiana and parts of Arkansas, but. This is what I worry about the most, is the heat. And they're going to have some more of it. We saw that. We saw that when we looked at, let's see if I can find this. Do we do this? All right, here. I mean, look at this. So these guys are above average. So when we see above average, I go, right? And this is down here too. So those areas, and when you see above average in the desert Southwest, it's like, wow, that's some stuff. So here we go. We'll move on. Okay, that's my little PSA for today. But it is weird. And it was even, I can remember when people would, parents would leave kids in cars, right? That was something that wasn't really paid attention to. It's just weird. So heat's a big deal. Desert Southwest has it. Here are the thunderstorms. We know that there's thunderstorm warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings, and this is what's happening now. So it's about, in the next couple hours, they'll intensify more as the day gets warmer. And you can see the moisture here, right? You can see the fuel. And you can even see a little bit of spin, see it? Right? It's just a little, anytime you get a hint of counterclockwise motion, you've got dynamics. And that's what you have here is dynamics. And then this is the higher clouds blowing off of it. But that's a beautiful satellite image. And then here is the oppressive heat. And you go, hey, Bill, where's the jet stream? I'm going to draw it in. So there's the ridge. And then a trough would probably go like this. Something like that, right? Because you see how the ridge is, see how that almost like a clockwise high pressure? And then the trough, you kind of see the counterclockwise flow. Okay, so there's that. What do we got here? Oh, we got the model. Awesome. I think we got the model. Come in. Today's been weird on my computer. I've been having, let's see if we can get over here. What are you doing? Stop. Let's try this. Okay, I'm going to refresh. We'll see if we can get it. Okay, so we'll just do it on the fly. Thanks for hanging in. We're going to do North American. Then we're going to go over here. We're going to go 500 millibar. Then we're going to go vorticity. And we're going to center it up. And it never happened. Okay, so there's the ridge, there's the trough. That's kind of what I drew in, remember? This is before... This is the model, but it's initialized run. So there's that. The model will tweak through, and what you need to pick out is, see that low spinning up in here? That's the saggy area that's bringing this trough. See, it's the parent low, and it's just pushing baby lows. I got my poor professors. But it is. It's the mother. It's the parent, and these little vorticities or little baby lows come through, and they don't stop. Look at that. That's on the 22nd. Now, does that happen? I don't know, but that would be interesting, wouldn't it? So the picture being, we're going to continue in this pattern a little bit. Let me see if I can get this going here. I'm going to do the, sorry about this part, but you guys are cool. Plus we're all in it together. So surface, let's do sea level pressure, dew point. Let's see, surface, we have to go precipitation. Normally I would have restarted this whole video, but I don't want to do it. And then sea level pressure, there it is. Okay. And we'll center up. And again, remember the lines represent pressure gradient. And the dashed lines represent temperature. And you see, when I look at this, I just go, hey, nothing's changing. During the day, the pressure gradient tightens up, and then it loosens up in the afternoon and the evening, tightens up again, rain stays away, no thunderstorms in the mountains. So no big changes. Very subtle. This all looks quite similar. This is what's different. You see those dashed lines, that's cooler. That I believe, yeah, that's around the 22nd. That's the trough that we were looking at. Doesn't bring any moisture in, does it? A little bit tries to, but that was that trough. So, but it definitely cools us off. So we'll see. This is Pleasure Point, Santa Cruz. Temperatures down there today will be in the mid upper 60s. Fog is clearing, so they haven't seen a lot of clearing in Santa Cruz the last few days or along much of the coast, but we'll see more clearing today, especially Northern California. Swell is running I want to say 3 to 4, but it's 2 to 3. And then this is Pleasure Point. And I was going to go down today with my son, but it's hard when it's smaller because there's too many people. There's this set right here. Let's watch this. This guy's, it's kind of mean, but see the stand-up guy, they call them janitors. I know, I've said it before. I think it's kind of a funny term, janitors, because they look like they're like janitors, right? They're like they got a broom. And by the way, the stand-up guys are actually kind of cool now. When they start, here he goes. He's going to hammer. See, he's on his own. He's not in anybody's way. But the thing is, you have a paddle. He's going to get that? No? Yeah? No. You have a paddle. It's an unfair advantage. It is. And so they have to be. And in the beginning, they weren't quite as... they can get it. You can get any way if you want with a paddle. You just can. That's all. So you got to be respectful of the guys who don't have paddles. And maybe it's kind of like motors on electric bikes. Yeah, I don't know, you guys. I mean, although I will say this is Halama. I will say this about the electric bikes. Wow, I'm just having issues today. They are making great trails. Like they make really awesome trails. So they're doing a lot of single track building up behind my house. This is Trussells where they're having a contest today. We talked about that yesterday. You can see the tents and all. I don't know if it looks like they're not in the contest now because there's a lot of people out. But they build really awesome trails. They do because they're heavy and they can do laps. A guy will do a loop that'll take me a day or like 2 hours. On an electric bike, he'll do the same loop or she'll do the same loop. And if it takes me 2 hours, it takes them 30 minutes. So they're probably doing 4 runs, which allows you to build a trail more aggressively. I used to try to build trails by myself up in the back, but I was by myself, and every spring it would grow over, and I could never find the trail again. Single track trails. So yeah, from janitors to electric bikes. But I was up in Sun Valley a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and I did see a lot of people on electric bikes that made sense. So I used to be like, whatever, just ride a bike. But it was nice to see like 80-year-old men and women out enjoying the bike trails and stuff. I was like, okay. It's just when I see healthy, strong, robust, not the kids. The kids, I don't blame them. I'd want an electric freaking bike too. But in terms of just like grown regular people, dude, just pedal. Just pedal. You don't need an electric bike. There, I said it. Look at the albedo, how it's holding the snow together here. This is, 64 degrees up at Mammoth. They're still going at it, man. And a little bit of wind. You can see it in the tree here. And nice day up at Mammoth. 64 degrees now. At the end of the day, they're going to end up at 73 degrees. But remember, they're up over, 7,000 feet. This is the bald eagle camera, and is it moving? Let's see. Yeah, I've been having issues. They're at 5.3. Yeah, it's moving. Let's see. Can't see them, but the girls are up in these trees. That's some of the places they like to perch. And then I always like to check the nest just to see what we got, and we got nothing there. So, good day. We watched the seals. I think the thing that we got out of this today that was most interesting to me was heat. Interesting, just when you think about it. Electric bikes and stand-up paddle boards kind of made me think about it. The Pier 39 thing, the earthquake, I'd forgotten about that. I'd forgotten about the origins of the Pier 39 sea lions. And they did start coming in, and that almost like the earthquake, stirred something in them. Because I don't think their rookeries are all blown up, because I don't remember that many rock slides, right? I think it was more a disruption of I don't want to say magnetosphere or anything like that because I'm not sure how sea lions navigate, but it's something changed in their environment that's much more esoteric than we're giving it credit for. And they came into the insides of the bay. Now, again, I guarantee you there's many of you out there going, I know why, and you probably do. So if you do know why, throw it up in the comments because I'd love to see that. Thanks for hanging in. And let me know about the format. I'm trying to make the format right. I do have chapter lists so you can find, if you don't want to sit through me talking about stand-up paddle boards, you can go find the GFS. You can go find the visible satellite. It's in the chapters if you just scrub that bottom line. Okay. You have a good day. I will see you back here. Tomorrow's Friday. I don't know if I'll see you tomorrow. I think I'm doing Tolbert's show tomorrow, Tommy. So if you're a fan of Tommy Tolbert, you'll see me there. I will promote it, and I'll figure out a way to link my stuff to that because he's an awesome dude. And I'm taking my beer that I brewed from the bottom of Mount Tam. It's a spring water beer. I think I told you this yesterday. But anyway, we're gonna do a little tasting, which will involve some drinking and live radio or podcast, which is, who knows, right? Okay, I'll see you back here.